it's kind of funny that the Rays are going to be opening with the Rockies because the Rays themselves have a park factor. How is that going to be playing out in 2025?
We have a lot of young pitchers, starters, and bullpen. And when that first dinger happens, how do you handle yourself? Do you have that poise and composure to keep pushing through? That'll be something to monitor as the season gains course. My advice is you better strike out a lot of guys and you better keep the ball on the ground.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulysses Zambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's Game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we are here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
And we are very, very close to opening day. So go ahead, grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, and subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
People, it's coming. It's coming. Less than 48 hours. We're going to have some actual Rays baseball that matters.
Insane.
And boy, I'm excited. Are you excited, Kev?
I am very excited. And I will note on Thursday's episode, we have a crossover with Locked On Rockies host Paul Holden. I don't think he's as excited. He's excited about opening day, but I don't think he's as excited about what the Rockies will do in 2025 as what we think the Rays will do in 2025. And it just got me thinking a little bit of, if you're a Rays fan, take last year out of the equation. We have kind of been a little bit spoiled with the number of wins and playoff appearances, because you look on the West Coast to another expansion team with a small budget and an owner who is disliked, and you could be going 61 and 101, 59 and 103, or not making a playoff appearance since 2018. And in that playoff appearance in 2018, you get swept 3-0 in the NLDS. So I know that we want the title, the fleeting championship, the fleeting World Series, but we also should kind of sit back, step back, and evaluate, you know what, things aren't all bad here in Tampa Bay, besides hurricanes and not knowing where you're going to play in 2026.
Basically off the field stuff, because on the field success has been there. Like we say on our intro, right? Since 2019, the Rays have gone to the playoffs except for 2024. And that can't be said on the other side of the U.S. with Colorado. And, you know, they have some issues, obviously, like we do with ownership.
Yeah.
But the talent development there is really missing. Some questioning moves from the front office as well.
Right.
It's rough out there for Rockies fans, but you know, on the Rays perspective here for this opening day weekend series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think Paul alluded to this, Rays fans should be expecting a nothing less than a win, like especially, Kev, because of the way that the schedule is structured. I know we've talked about this endless, but we have to talk about it. Something like 40 plus games, 42 games out of the first 55, 59 games for the Rays will be at home. Yes. So you cannot afford to get on a slow pace or tread water for a little bit. You got to go. You got to go early and hard. So when you have situations like getting the Rockies for 3 games, nothing would be better than just get 2 out of 3. But
Right.
if you're able to come out there with a sweep, that gives you a little bit of cushion for something in July to go wrong. When you get swept, you have this sweep in March to get you by.
Yeah, I remember last year when the Rays got off to a slow start. Did they play the Rockies to start the year last year?
And I don't know if you remember, but that's actually, I think, Pete Fairbanks' first blown safe of the year.
Yeah. So if I'm just, not to put this out in the ether, but I'm going to put it out in the ether. If the Rays get swept somehow, some way by the Rockies, we could be in for a long season because you've got to come back from them. If you start the season 1-5, I think it's going to be really troubling and challenging to bounce back from that. And you have to really placemake yourself at Steinbrenner Field. Quickly and rapidly find out if there's any advantage that you can take advantage of and use that field and that confine to your advantage. It is a sellout on Friday, a whopping 10,064, and hopefully a majority Rays fans. But I think maybe just the freshness in the air, the uniqueness in the air should carry this team to some extent. Hopefully, maybe I'm just all pie in the sky with that. And another thing I was thinking of in talking to Paul, not to, harp too much on the Rockies, but this is a team that, they have their own issues and challenges. Besides playing in a very hitter-friendly park that is not friendly to pitchers and does not bode well when you're trying to lure free agent pitchers.
Right.
It's interesting if you study the offense of the Rockies. Yeah, anybody, you could be the worst offense in baseball, and you'll still probably put up decent numbers at Coors Field. You go away from Coors Field, like things change dramatically just based on the way the ball flies and the way the pitches move in any other locale. And usually you would say, oh, well, the Rockies should be pretty good offensively. Well, last year they had the fewest runs scored in a 162-game season in their franchise history, which dates back to 1993. So basically what I'm trying to say is this is a very winnable series. And my other point, not to go too off on a tangent here, but we've talked about, and we mentioned it as you'll hear on Thursday, of sometimes we as Rays fans think, just get that one player, get that one big fish, spend $100 million, spend $75 million, spend $125 million. Well, the Rockies did that, and it's backfired tremendously in Chris Bryant. So that's just a little food for thought. Like, if and when the Rays pull the trigger on a name like that, they better be darn sure that guy is going to be productive year in and year out for, the majority of the length of that contract. And we can talk about Wander Franco, but that's a totally different case. This is performance and injury-related issues where you sign Chris Bryant with that amount of money in a team that normally doesn't spend like that. You have full expectation of he better be giving us a 280 average and knocking out 35 homers and being a perennial all-star.
This Rays ownership cannot miss. That's the thing. They cannot miss. That's how they're playing it. So a Chris Bryant contract, that's why it doesn't happen, because they think if it were to go wrong, then we are done for the next 3, 5, 6 years. So I do want to go back to your second point. You mentioned a lot about park factors and how, the Rockies and all that. It's kind of funny that the Rays are going to be opening with the Rockies because the Rays themselves have a park factor. How is that going to be playing out in 2025? Mm-hmm. We've mentioned that these arms are amazing. And at the same time, we're saying, well, the short porch is going to help Brendan Lau and Josh Lowe and maybe Jonathan Aranda, and the humidity is going to make that ball fly all over the place, and we should be seeing a little bit more of a power surge. We're saying all of that. How is that going to affect Rays pitchers? So it's going to be, because they're really good. The bullpen and the pitching staff is really good. So it's going to be harder for the hitters to take advantage of the short porch and of the dimensions and of the humidity, obviously, because you're facing tough pitchers like the Rays staff. But even then, you're going to be dinged more than you were at Tropicana Field.
Right.
So it's going to be very interesting to sit back and maybe when you're watching a game, you crack open maybe some snacks and watch the game like that.
Oh yeah. Well, there is one place and one thing you could do, and that is Wonderful Pistachios. They're taking over peanuts. It's not peanuts and Cracker Jacks anymore. It's Wonderful Pistachios and Cracker Jacks. If you're not onto this vibe, you better get onto it. I'm seeing these things everywhere. In fact, before I get into the live read, just a quick PSA. Please don't litter these bags. I saw some litter today at work, and it was this exact same bag, and I'll tell you it wasn't me. So all you got to do, yes, I know they're delicious, and you just want to get through them so quickly, but also be mindful and put them in the garbage can or the receptacle. That's just my quick PSA here. My other PSA in ad read is this. If you are looking for a snack that is both delicious and nutritious, be sure to crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they are packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Go ahead, visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. I'm not going to spell it out. Google it, wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. There we go. Wonderful Pistachios. Ulysses, you hit on a couple of interesting things there. What I will be curious about, yes, I think the pitching ERAs in numbers may be boosted a bit, not in a good way. I guess I should say inflated to playing at Steinbrenner versus Tropicana Field. We have a lot of young pitchers, starters and bullpen. And when that first dinger happens or you get racked around a little bit, how do you handle yourself? Do you have that poise and composure to keep pushing through, or are you going to rise up your hands and say, well, it's the ballpark. I can't do it in this ballpark. So that'll be something to monitor as the season gains course. My advice is you better strike out a lot of guys and you better keep the ball on the ground. That's really what I got. And I mean, it's basic stuff. Don't walk guys because you don't want to turn solo shots you can deal with. But when you get into those 2-run homers and 3-run homers, those are very challenging to battle back from. Even we've talked Porch and Brandon Lau and Josh Lowe to help.
And we've talked about Pepio having a little bit of an issue like with stamina, and all of these guys are going to be tested with stamina. It's a different ball game when you see them drenched and all that, and they're actively it's a sport, right? So they're in it. The adrenaline is going. It's different though in 72 AC weather than what you're going to be facing out there. We don't know what to expect, and that's why I think this season is going to be very, very interesting to follow along, and we're going to see those things. I think to your point, that's when Kyle Snyder and the mental health coordinator, mental health coach, and the young players themselves, they have to do work on that aspect. They have to be even better at turning the page. And I know that we've talked to some pitchers on the show, Hunter Biggie, of course, or Brody Hopkins, or you name them. We talk about how do you get Colin Poche? How do you turn from a bad outing to a good outing to the next one? And you've just got to flush it, man. You cannot just go into the abyss of negativity. You just got to move right past it. So hopefully that's something that even the young pitchers can do this season, because they're going to have to do that.
Yes, they're going to have to step up for sure. All right, let's move into and change gears slightly here. We are getting very close to the season. It is opening day eve if you're a Rays fan. Win-loss record expectation for the good guys this year. What are you looking at? What are you banking on? What are you going to FanDuel with?
I think, are we doing a window?
You can do a window if you so choose.
I'm seeing this team. Oh God, the window could be so large if everything goes to you know what. So, but hey, it's opening day ish, so we're gonna be positive here. Okay,
It's unlike the Rockies, where the Rockies might win like 58 to 62 games. Not to mention playing in the NL West when you've got to contend with
that's
other
rough.
teams, namely the Dodgers, who I think are going to go like 159-3. Last
I think
checked.
so. Yeah, and they haven't lost yet. 2-0. I'm gonna go with 84 and 88 wins.
Okay.
84 and 88, being positive. This is me being positive, people, and optimistic. Because opening days here, and then we got to be hopeful, glass half full. 84 and 88, I think that should be good enough to not only be in the wild card race, but if everything does align, you could still be playing for the AL East title. Now, I am not thinking that the Rays are by any means the favorite at all, but I think the division is closer in competition than people outside are thinking. Like we've talked about, the Red Sox had a great offseason.
Right.
The Orioles maybe not so much. The Blue Jays have always been kind of underplaying their capabilities. So could they do that again? And then the Yankees. I'm sorry. I am sorry, but maybe this is my hater on the Yankees. But Paul Goldschmidt in his late 30s and Cody Bellinger does not equal Juan Soto. And they don't equal Juan Soto neither here nor in the Bronx nor in Jupiter. Right. That's not an equation. Okay. So that's something that the Yankee fans are not ready for. And you don't have Garrett Cole. You don't have the rookie of the year in Luis Gil, who had a fantastic first half of the season and a horrendous second half, but you don't have those two guys. And now your big acquisition, Max Fried, now he's got to be Big Daddy. He's got to be number one. It's a much simpler gig putting on the pinstripes, knowing that you're number two because Papi Cole is number one, and you just have to, play number two. But now you're taking ball number one. Everybody's expecting, hey, what do you got? We gave you that money. Now, who are you going to be? It's much tougher now for Max Fried. So I don't see the Yankees as this runaway team in the AL East anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely a gut punch for them, and there's a lot of pressure tied with them as well. Cole is a big blow. Obviously, Stanton's never going to be healthy, so you can pretty much mark him off. Maybe if you added up Goldschmidt and Bellinger in their primes at their best, then that could weather the loss of Juan Soto. But again, to your point, I don't think the performance is going to be there this year. And that's just the start of it. That's just getting into the beginning of the season. I mean, we can be down and out about Shane McClanahan, but he's not going to miss a full year like Cole is. So I think we got to put that in perspective. So how does and then I'll kind of give my answers here, but 1 through 5, what do you see the AL East being?
I think the Red Sox are going to be taking that division.
They did a lot of work in the offseason. They addressed their needs. The offense is solid. They got prospects on the come up. Pitching, they made the additions. They did pretty much everything you need to do. Now, we've seen it before where you go out and get a bunch of guys in the offseason and it tanks, but it seems like they're making the correct moves to take that level up, if you will.
Just like Goldschmidt plus Bellinger does not equal Juan Soto, winning the hot stove does not equal a great season the next year, 100%. But right now, that's all we have with days to go from opening day. So, yeah, I'll put the Red Sox first. And besides that, I think Alex Bregman at Fenway Park is going to be disgusting to watch. That man is going to do damage with that green monster there. So it's going to be rough. So I'll put him first, and then I'll start from the bottom. I think the Blue Jays are going to be a disappointment once again. I really do.
Okay.
I just don't see that team going anywhere other than fifth. That doesn't mean they're going to have a horrible record, but I just think that they're the worst of the bunch. And then in the middle, take your pick, man. It can be the Orioles, Yankees, Rays. It can be Rays, Orioles, Yankees. It can be Yankees, Rays, Orioles. That part, I think that's where the battle is in the AL East. And you could possibly see all the wild card teams coming from the AL East. I really do think so, at least this year. Maybe not last year because it wasn't meant to be. But this year, I could very well see all the AL East teams making a push for the playoff.
Yeah, I think you surmised it perfectly. Win-loss wise, I think it's in that 84 to 88 window. I would take the over on any projection that you see on a betting site that says, Rays 80.5, 81.5, 82. I would take the over there right now. And then as far as the East, Boston 1, Blue Jays 5. Then it's take your pick 2, 3, 4. I'll just go with the Orioles, the Rays, and then the Yankees. So I've got Boston, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, New York, and Toronto. But even, people aren't so high on the Blue Jays right now, and they may very well wind up trading Bo Bichette and Vladdy Guerrero. All these teams could theoretically finish the year over 500, and you have, at least 3 teams make the playoffs from the AL East as well. So it's going to be, I think, a very fun, competitive back and forth division. All right, we have a little bit more to discuss, Ulysses, but first we have to tell the audience something very, very important.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It takes less than 5 minutes to get started, and it's a complete look at your financial well-being. It manages your money. You can start building wealth. It's fantastic. It gives you everything. It's not just a budgeting app. And today, you can get started and take control of your finances with Monarch Money using code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's right. Using code LOCKEDONMLB gets you 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Again, monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. They've got an easy-to-use website packed with helpful resources and latest product information to help you get the job done right. Plus, they've got an inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, so you'll get exactly what you need and delivered fast from coast to coast. You can join their free Trade Master program, which offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order by going to supplyhouse.com/TM, and you can start ordering everything, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. Again, you can do all of that at supplyhouse.com.
All right, getting to a couple final fun predictions and guesstimations here before we wrap up. Number one, Ulysses, and for the people on the YouTubes, feel free to chime in with your answers here. Who will be the Rays team MVP in 2025?
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and be uniform. I said my bold prediction was that B. Lau and Josh Lowe would combine for at least 60 home runs. If I want my bold prediction to be right, then Brendan Lau will be this year's team MVP. I have to hope that the emergence of Curtis Mead means that he can see a little bit more second base, which means you can rest Brendan Lau by playing him at first or DH a little bit more and hopefully get him the rest that he needs. It's not turf. I don't know if that's going to be a little bit more easy on his body. But yeah, I'm going to go with Brendan Lau.
Great minds think alike. That's my guess as well. Heck, he was the team MVP in 2024 and he missed, 50, 60 games. So why not this year? Maybe a dark horse, Junior Caminero perhaps. But I think Brandon Lau is a good pick. Heck, you don't have to play the full season. You could still be team MVP. And then, there's a lot of guys that really need to step up. I would like to have a team MVP like season from Josh Lowe. I think we're chomping a bit for that for sure. Okay. Rays rookie, best Rays rookie.
I think we're going to also be on the same page with this. I got to go with Chandler Simpson. I cannot wait to see this man play. I cannot wait to see him flying around the bases. I can't wait to see him bunt. Yes, analytics fans, puke all you want. I can't wait to see Chandler Simpson bunt and get on base and then steal second, steal third, and then a wild pitch gets him home, a la Ricky Henderson style, okay? I can't wait to see that. Chandler Simpson's my pick.
His slow bleeders to third will be the most exciting play in baseball. Just watch, or one of the most exciting plays in baseball. I'll go a little bit different just because I'm not sure of the timeline of when he'll get called up. Mason Montgomery, that'll be my pick. Can I still count him as a rookie?
I think so. Yeah, because he had only 20 innings, I think.
Okay, so just play with me, ride with it. Mason Montgomery, he hasn't had a lot of action. So, he throws 100 miles an hour. He gets great extension. In his limited action last year, he was fantastic. Fastball slider, that's all you need to be very, very successful. And I think that he is going to embrace the bullpen role, take it and run with it. And who knows, maybe, perhaps not this year, but in the future, could be a left-handed closer. If he shows the stuff there. So I'll just go a little bit differently. Now, if Chandler Simpson made the opening day roster, that would probably make my guess a little bit different there. But then we move on to the best pitcher on the Rays in 2025. Who will that be?
Gosh, this could be any single one of them, honestly.
Which is such a cool guys, thing. 12 guys.
It's so cool to say that. Like you don't have a bad choice.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with a guy that I think is going to have a healthy season and is going to be proving that trade is still going to hurt for this fan base, and that's Shane Baz. I think this is the season where he's going to put up a whole bunch of innings and a whole bunch of strikeouts, and he's just going to be a constant on the bump. I'm looking at this guy being 6 innings, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 2 earned runs. Like, he's just going to be that guy. I can't wait to see him just put up like 25 to 30 starts this year. I'm going to go with Shane Baz.
That's my guess as well. I'll just give a quick backup of, again, hopefully this guy doesn't miss too much time, but Shane McClanahan, when he returns, I don't believe there'd be too tight of a leash on him. I mean, he's had the rest now, so just let him run and play and get a lot of innings and then put up great numbers based on that. But Shane Baz, I really think, is primed for an emergence this year. And before you know it, by the end of 2025, going into 2026, you could see a Shane and Shane 1 and 2 combination where Shane McClanahan's the starter, the opening day starter, the ace, and then Shane Baz is that reliable number 2 who maybe fosters himself into an ace role at some point. I think that that's a guy who is just latent with potential. He just needs to, like so many others, stay on the field. But when he's on the field, I really am more confident day in and day out, start in and start out with him than maybe some of the, than Taj Bradley and Ryan Pepio of, you might get a bad start here and there, or you might
what it is
fall off a cliff in August or September. I think Shane Baz could be more of a steady Eddie player, so to speak.
that trifecta of young pitchers, which is great to have, Taj, Shane, Baz, and Pepio. I think Shane Baz does win out for me as well because you mean constant, and when you see him pitch, the delivery is so repeatable. It's so repeatable. Like it's a Xerox machine. It's fantastic how he's able to do that. If you don't know what a Xerox machine is, then you're definitely young and look that up. He's just like that, man. It's crazy. So it's the delivery for me. He's got this stuff, and when you talk about the delivery, how he just throws 98, just the cheese without any sort of hint to the fan base, to the crowd, to the audience, to the other players, that he's actually even exerting any type of velocity. He's just like, playing catch, and boom, here goes 98. Boom, here goes 99. It's sick. I think Shane Baz is there. But you know what? We want to hear your takes. Who is going to be the best Rays pitcher? Who is going to be the team MVP? And who's going to be the best Rays rookie for the 2025 season? Drop it down in the comments. And if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button right now.
Yeah. And Shane Baz, cool, calm, and collected. If he's really not even, it doesn't look like he's exerting a lot of energy, maybe compared to some other guys. Maybe that bodes well for him when he gets into late innings and heated conditions at Steinbrenner Field and elsewhere. He's just cool, calm, and collected, and that's what we should all like about him. In the meantime, thank you for making us your first listen every day. For your next listen, find Locked On MLB with Sully, our buddy. We've been on the show with him. He's been on the show with us. So go ahead and check him out. Get ready for opening day after you listen to us. In the meantime, we hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later.